Hello and welcome to Levant TV Headlines. American aircraft bombed the Khorasan group in Syria on Thursday in the third attack on the Al-Qaeda offshoot that is considered an immediate threat to the West, the US military Central Command said. The Lebanese military says a roadside bomb has exploded near an army patrol in eastern Lebanon, wounding 3 soldiers. The military says the attack took place Friday near the town of Arsal along the Syrian border. Israeli police have lifted the age limit for Muslim men who want to pray at a contested holy site in Jerusalem that is sacred to both Jews and Muslims and where tensions have soared in recent weeks. Afghanistan's new president Ashraf Ghani has arrived in Pakistan for a 2-day visit aimed at improving ties between the two neighbors, often encumbered by mutual suspicion and accusations. And now let's take a look at the top headlines in today's newspapers in the Middle East. Starting with the Khalij Times, UAE Foreign Minister Sheikh Abdullah bin Zayed Al Nahyan has strongly condemned the terrorist attack on the UAE embassy in the Libyan capital Tripoli. No one from the embassy staff was injured, but 3 others were wounded when a car bomb exploded on Thursday near the embassy compound, which was badly damaged. The paper also reports that the FIFA cleared Russia and Qatar on Thursday of wrongdoing in their bids to host the World Cup. But the former US prosecutor who led the investigation by soccer's governing body said it had misrepresented his findings. A German judge who ruled on behalf of the soccer body's ethics committee said he found no grounds sufficient to reopen the bidding process for the 2018 Cup in Russia and the 2022 Cup in Qatar. In Lebanon's Daily Star, a Lebanese army unit was ambushed on the outskirts of the northeastern town of Arsal as it headed to the scene of a roadside bomb that wounded 3 soldiers earlier in the day. In a statement, the army said the military unit came under fire by militants on the outskirts, prompting soldiers to fire back and pursue the gunmen who fled to the highlands surroundings of Arsal. The paper also reports millions of lives could be lost in a global pandemic if the international community repeats a tardy response to West Africa's Ebola outbreak. World Bank President Jim Yong Kim warned Friday. Kim called for the establishment of a multi-billion-dollar contingency fund to ensure relief efforts mobilize immediately when an infection threat such as Ebola or a rogue influenza strain emerges. In the Jerusalem Post, US Secretary of State John Kerry said on Thursday that calm must be restored in Jerusalem before direct or regional Israeli-Palestinian peace talks can commence, following a meeting in Amman with Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu and King Abdullah of Jordan. After the meeting, Kerry said that a mechanism had been developed to end the violence in Jerusalem and the Temple Mount. He was short on details, except to say that it would ensure that the status quo would be maintained at the holy site. The paper also reports that negotiations for a comprehensive nuclear agreement with Iran may require more time than planned. Officials involved in the talks began suggesting on Thursday. The talks are set to end on November 24th after 10 months of efforts. Key questions remained unresolved, Foreign Minister Laurent Fabius said in Paris. And now let's take a look at the top Middle East headlines from papers here in the UK. The Daily Telegraph reports that the Islamic State has announced that they will start producing their own currency in areas under its control in an effort to emancipate itself from the satanic global economic system. ISIS, which is thought to be the wealthiest terror group in the world, announced on Thursday its plans to reinstate an ancient Islamic dinar currency using gold and silver coins in a move purely dedicated to God. The self-declared state's treasury said it would soon be issuing another statement to explain the new currency's exchange rate and where to find it. The currency, based on the original dinar coins used during the Caliphate of Uthman in 634 AD, will include 7 minted coins, 2 gold, 3 silver and 2 copper. Also from the UK, The Independent comments that militant leaders from the ISIS and Al-Qaeda terrorist groups have agreed to stop fighting each other in order to join against their opponents. ISIS, which calls itself the Islamic State, and Al-Qaeda's Syrian affiliates, Jabhat al-Nusra, have been engaged in bitter fighting for more than a year in an attempt to dominate the bloody rebellion against Syrian President Bashar al-Assad. The accord set between the extremist groups in northern Syria last week could spell problems for the US-led coalition in its fight against ISIS, as it complements its airstrikes by arming moderate rebel factions to fight on the ground. And now let's have a look at top Middle Eastern headlines in international papers. Starting with the New York Times, Iraq's central government and the autonomous region of Kurdistan reached an interim agreement on Thursday over oil exports and budget payments, at least temporarily easing a bitter dispute that has threatened the government's stability. The standoff began earlier this year when Kurdish officials angered Baghdad by exporting oil produced in their region directly to Turkey and not through the Iraqi oil ministry. The government in Baghdad called the move unconstitutional and suspected that the Kurds were trying to use oil to advance a bid for independence. So the central government stopped sending the Kurdistan the 17% of the national budget allotted to the regional government. And finally, from Beijing, the Global Times reports that US Secretary of State John Kerry met Palestinian President Mahmoud Abbas in Jordan on Thursday for talks aimed at calming a wave of violence gripping Israel and the occupied territories. The meeting in Amman came hours after fresh clashes broke out in East Jerusalem, where Israeli police fired tear gas, percussion bombs and rubber bullets to disperse Palestinian demonstrators. The meeting between Abbas and Kerry, who arrived in Jordan late on Wednesday, came a day after Israel approved plans for another 200 settler homes in annexed East Jerusalem, a move sharply criticized by Washington. That was it for today. For more updates, please visit our website levant.tv. Thanks for watching. Be sure to join us again on Monday, and bye for now.